Yes. Hmm. Hello.
Everybody on Zoom?
So far it's just you and Trent. No, but Tanya's trying to get in on Zoom.
But is there any other ones on Zoom?
Yes. We should have a quorum.
Oh, okay.
Tanya, is that you on the phone?
Hi, Alyssa. Yeah, this is me.
Okay, great.
Yeah, the links didn't come through, so I'm here.
Okay, well, I'm glad that you made it regardless.
Yeah, no worries.
Let me double check my emails to make sure. Expecting anyone else? Oh, great, we have a quorum. And I know Brett was going to attend as well.
Okay.
I guess technically we still have 3 minutes.
Right.
Pen?
Okay.
Do you need a pen?
So, I started out with several today.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and then there's Brent.
Yeah, there he is.
Awesome. Jim is not going to be able to make it tonight, but he did send me with notes, so he has an opinion from the notes, I will voice it.
Do you want to do that just at the beginning?
Sure.
Okay. All right. Well, let's call the, what time is it? I mean, I guess we can wait a minute. Should we just start? I don't think we're going to have
We can
anybody else. Okay. Let's go ahead and start the tree board meeting of February 13th, 2023. Let's go with roll call. Chairman Trent Grantham is here. Co-chair Mike Jackson is here. Dennis Olson is here. Brent Chapman is here, and Tanya
Nozawa.
Nazawa. I was trying. Okay, is here. All right, and Jim Sador is excused. I don't see any meeting minutes. Did we not have any? Our last was a joint meeting, right? So we didn't have any meeting minutes.
Yes, I'm still waiting on our December minutes to be completed.
Okay.
As soon as I have those.
Okay, that's fine. No changes to the agenda tonight?
None for me?
Oh,
Okay. I suppose under number 4, tree board member reports, we can discuss Jim's ideas.
Right. I'm going to just read the email that he sent me. He wanted me to correct the date on the memo. So the memo includes the incorrect date for the event. It's last year's date. I missed that. So the event will be on April 22nd, 2023, not April 23rd, 2022. He had a note. Yes. said celebrating Arbor Day at the same day and place as the Tumwater Earth Day celebration is good, since Earth Day people gather at an hour earlier at the Arbor Day people. It would be nice to offer them seedlings and information. I believe last year the Earth Day people left the park to do some ivy removal before the tree board had seedlings ready to give away. For the Arbor Day seedling order, he said that we offered in 2022 vine maple, Pacific crabapple, Saskatoon serviceberry, and red osier dogwood. In my opinion, this was a good collection. Many, if not most of the people got seedlings lived on small lots where large trees would fit. But because of monarch butterfly has been listed in 2022 as endangered, I suggest that we also add the native species of milkweed that the monarchs feed on. He said we suggest that we offer the same number of seedlings in 2022. He is planning on volunteering from 9 o'clock until we're finished cleaning up on Arbor Day. Arborist, he said, in the past, tree board members have been able to answer questions from the public. I believe we do not need an arborist at the event. As to potential tree planting, he said, as I recall, in 2022, we had a separate event when the new mayor planted a tree in Historical Park. In my opinion, we don't have to have a tree planting at the same day as the seedling giveaway. But he recommends that every time the city opens a new park, special project, like a microbrewery school, cul-de-sac, new development, or annual event such as the 4th of July or the Salmon Festival, that the tree board should sponsor a tree planting. If we should try to select planting sites where native plants would succeed. It says, with the Arbor Day seedlings, we should give out with the recipients a handout describing the seedlings' preferred planting sites, mature size, and environmental characteristics, photographs of the seedlings in leaf, flower, and fruit. We also should print out the handout hyperlinks to websites with more regional information. And then his last piece was planting follow-up. It would help the tree board to do a better job if we could get some feedback from the seedling recipients, including when and where the seedling was planted, a photo of the seedling in full leaf, and a photo of the seedling a year later and 5 years later. This information could be sent to the tree board for annual analysis before each Arbor Day. The information could also be used by the city to promote quality landscaping. If citizens were willing to be interviewed by the tree board 1 year after planting, we might learn valuable information as to what seedlings should be offered and what information is needed. To accomplish this, the recipients of the seedlings would have to give their city their contact information. Thank you for your consideration, Jim Zador.
Okay, so that's a lot to unpack. I did look up milkweed because he had mentioned that. I don't think that's native to Western Washington. It's an Eastern Washington plant, but it's also
I'm thinking that too.
a perennial. So I don't know if that would be, I mean, it's probably not going to look like much in April, but let's see. I think last year we got we bought the plants from Brett. Did you set that up last year? Did we get those from the plant place?
Espinal.
Did you
I don't-
contact them, or did was that Brad that contacted them?
Brad did all the real work.
Oh, okay. Do you Alyssa, is that something you want to do? Do you want to call a nursery and see what they have and
Yeah, I can do that.
get back to us, or do you want us to kind of field that, or how do you want to handle that?
If we could have a general idea of the species that we want and how many, tonight, that would help me so that I could call around to try and secure that. And perhaps if we had some alternates in case some weren't available, that I could depend on. That way we don't have to meet again for me to complete that order.
Sure. Okay. I only got the vine and the crabapple. What was, did we have a dogwood? Was that the other one?
Saskatoon serviceberry and red osier dogwood.
Okay. And the serviceberry, okay. I think those are all pretty good. Does anybody else have any suggestions for species?
Well, I know
Mike?
Jim's been talking about, on some places, the native species of, red cedar and even Doug fir, would work. I know last time having all that stuff potted was really a good deal.
Yeah,
I mean, we paid more for it, but hey, it made it a lot cleaner.
yeah, it was handy.
There are some dwarf cultivars of Western red cedar. It might be worth exploring to see what the nursery can provide so that, I mean, they still get big, but not as big as the straight species.
Yeah,
I wonder if those would be more for, I don't remember what we paid, but I could see those being like, twice as much as just kind of your standard shrub or tree, but maybe
Yeah,
not.
and I'm not sure you can get them in a gallon pot either, but it
Yeah.
might be worth asking.
So maybe we could look into getting a Western red cedar or a cultivar of Western red in a gallon pot if it's available.
yeah, we just have a few to see what they've got available.
Yeah. I can't imagine them not having like vine or crab or even the serviceberry or dogwood. I mean, that might be enough. It seems like that stuff's probably common enough, but they would have it.
Would we still be shooting for 100 total trees to give away?
I think so. I think
Yeah,
that
I
was a
think-
good amount.
Yeah,
If I could get dwarf Western red cedar, try to get how many before we just split 25 for each other species. So
I would
yeah, I wouldn't
think,
get 20.
right, maybe 10 of those and then divide the other ones
Yeah.
up from there.
I can see if I can source some milkweed, native milkweed seeds.
Oh, yeah.
And another idea for we started a pollinator garden in our community garden in Lacey last year. So I found this monarch butterfly garden mix from Territorial, a well-respected company in Oregon. So here's just one potential lead. It contains milkweed plus a lot of other things that are good for monarchs.
Thank you.
Do we have a cost of what we paid last year for each of those pots?
I think it was $550
Oh,
for
okay.
each.
And we always seem to have money left over at the end of the year. So I'm personally not worried about the cost because we never seem to spend our money.
Yeah, and this year the tree board line item wasn't approved, but I was given a lump sum for sustainability measures. So the tree board stuff is just coming out of that.
Oh,
It wasn't about you all, just was a lump sum. Moving from Brad to me, I think a lot of the stuff was in utilities. Y'all don't need to know that really, but so you have a theoretical budget of the same years, but it's not a particular line item. So, and also
Oh.
each time we do an assessment of the heritage trees that are nominated, it's about $125 each time. And I know that Jim is personally going to nominate 8 trees this year.
oh,
Busy.
Yes, every single Gary Oak in town.
Nice.
Okay, so I will look for, I'll call around to different nurseries, including we're starting with who we worked with last time. Try and source those and those counts. And also look for Territorial's monarch mix.
okay. Yeah, you could probably also call, oh, what is it? I could send you their information. There's a wholesale nursery out in Olympia that might have, I think it's South Sound Nursery. I think that's it. But I'll
First Sound
send that
Native
to you.
Plants, is that the one you're thinking of?
No, I mean, they probably would have something too, but no, this is a commercial wholesale grower. Um, but yeah, Northwest Native Plants might be another choice, but I think they sell out of a lot of their stuff pretty early. But maybe not. I don't know. That might be a good one.
If I was able to get the dwarf western red cedar, would you all be able to help putting together an equivalent handout for that species as we have been giving out for the vine maple, the crabapple, and express?
Yeah, that'd be easy.
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah, just as soon as we know what they are, I mean, I'm sure we can print those out pretty easily. It's not a big deal. Do we have an idea, you know, we give away all that stuff every year. Do we have an idea of what we have left?
Counted everything last week. We have 42 PSE vegetation management brochures, and we have hundreds upon hundreds of all of the different Arbor Day ones on how to prune young shade trees, don't chop trees, right tree for the right place, trees for wildlife, living in urban soils. Hundreds, trees for America, like 400. I'm going to print new heritage tree maps since we have new heritage trees. And I'll look for new handouts or make copies of the tree planting instructions from DNR. There were only 4 left. So I think we have enough of everything. There's 75 bags that are packed already. And I think there were only 26 away last year, so
Nice.
Okay.
I think we're in good shape. I have some additional stuff from the National Wildlife Federation that I'm going to stick in there as well. We're trying to get the county habitat, certified wildlife habitat accreditation. So the more events that we give out those handouts, the closer we are to getting that.
Oh, great. Okay. Do we have any other posters or?
Yeah, we have a lot of the posters left. I didn't count those, but I would estimate at least 50 of each.
Okay,
There's 2 kinds, designs.
cool. All right.
And it appears we get a new Tree City USA flag every year. There were like 20 flags.
We can hand those out this year. Everybody gets a Tree City USA flag. Does anybody have any other things they want to talk about as far as the giveaway goes?
I have another couple items that are in the memo.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. Fire away.
Fine. The proclamation, I know that you all have finalized the language in years past, so the proclamation is on page 7 of the packet. If there's any changes that you all want to make before I submit this for the internal routing process. And I can share it on my screen if you want.
Sure, go ahead and share it. Yeah, it looks like I guess we would just need to update the date. So if we're getting 100 plants, we could technically say 100 people, right?
Yep, that's one thing that I
Yeah.
wondered. Okay.
Yeah. Maybe say a free native plant to the first 60 or first 100 people. Maybe since we don't have a professional arborist on site, we should probably not say arborist, but you could say have the opportunity to ask a professional forester. Mike, is that what you are? Are you a forester?
Right, that's what I am.
Yeah, you could say landscape architect because that's what I am. Brett, what are your? Are you a nurseryman or?
Muted, Brent.
Oh, you're muted, Brett. Are you trying to talk?
I could
Oh,
say,
here we are.
There
have
you
you-
go.
I'm sorry, you caught me multitasking.
Oh.
Horticulturalist is my title.
Okay, perfect.
have the opportunity to ask professional foresters, landscape architects, and horticulturalists
Sure.
about proper.
Yeah.
Professional tree enthusiast for Tanya? No.
Yes.
That would be me.
Or-
I don't have a fancy title, sorry.
You don't need a fancy title.
We're still
They
saying the
usually
first
ask
60.
they ask,
300.
last year they asked pretty basic questions though, so it's pretty easy, you know, so.
Yeah, so a free native plant for the first 100 people?
Yeah.
Okay.
So one per person.
Yeah, because we can give away more at the end. If we start running out of time and have leftovers.
And I would propose we say a potted native plant instead of plant seedling, since that's what we're gonna do. 1 gallon potted. I mean, I guess assuming that's what we actually find, but. Just so they know they're getting something something a little nicer than a seedling.
Yeah.
So a free potted native plant for the first 100 people and have the opportunity to ask professional forester, landscape architect, and horticulturalist about proper care and planting of trees.
Sure.
Yeah, that's okay.
And then
Any
is
other
that date
edits?
right or not? Is it the 23rd or
is
the
right.
22nd? Okay. Perfect.
22nd, yeah. I had it right here, not on the memo.
Okay. All right.
Another action for the tree board to consider is volunteer staffing for the tree board for the event. I know Jim had said that he would be there from 9 until cleanup. Is anyone else planning on being in attendance for any amount of time to?
Dennis will.
I'll be there as well. I'll be there from 9 to 12 too.
I'll be
And
there.
I will.
Right, so I have Jim, Dennis, Trent, Mike, and Tanya.
Can I be a free agent and come and go as I want?
You
Yes,
betcha.
and actually, Brent, you've been requested by the group that puts together the Earth Days. Apparently, last year they were impressed with a presentation that you gave, and they wondered if you could roam all the different Earth Day events throughout the county. Brent,
Oh my, I don't
Throughout
remember
the
giving a
county.
presentation.
they called you out by name. I can send you an email to.
Oh, well, don't commit me just yet.
Yeah,
I didn't yet. Don't worry.
Well, that would be fun going to see what else is happening. Especially since we have this one well covered.
As for number 4 on here, determining details regarding the arborist that would be available, sounds like you all will be there, not necessarily arborists.
Correct.
Right? Got that?
Yep.
And, yes. And the last thing on my list for getting actions from you all, potential tree planting in coordination with other Parks and Recreation Department. So it sounded like Jim didn't care. He'd rather do tree plantings other times. Do you all want to do a tree planting during this event? They do one already as part of Earth Day.
I don't see why we need to.
Yeah, I wouldn't be disappointed if I didn't have to dig a hole and plant a tree.
Yeah,
But if we had money, I'm more than happy to like donate one to the city to plant somewhere.
I covered all of my questions essentially for you all.
Okay. Well, let's go back to the.
if the city didn't have enough money for the trees, there's a couple that were wiped out by a car over on Second Avenue.
What is the tree fund balance in the city? Do you know off the top of your head? Alyssa, or have to
Yes,
look that
so
up?
the tree fund is, I think about 90,000.
Oh,
I've been instructed by, the city administrator to spend that down over the next 3 years. And, within my department, that has been kind of handed off to our habitat and restoration specialist to focus on, riparian, restoration with trees. That'll be the main focus, but if he can't spend all the money, then we'll do more with it. But it's the first year from trying to see if he could spend, I think it's $35,000 this year, and another $35,000 next year. I'm also looking at incentives that I'll present to the tree board at a later date of other ways in which we could use that money to help with tree planting on private properties.
oh,
Well, and we wouldn't need to put out money from the tree board for replacement, but I was just talking about on Second. I mean, that could be things that could be done out of the tree fund.
yeah, those trees have been missing, I think, since I've lived here.
Oh.
So,
I like all those ideas. I'd also like to see if we want to reserve a few $100s for Jim's idea of planting a tree at other times of the year within Tumwater. Like a tree here, a tree there for a special occasion.
We can do that, and I can coordinate with our Parks Department to make sure that wherever we were thinking of planting a tree works for them as well.
Yeah, I think we need to rely on the city, including the parks, to help guide us where they want a tree or need a tree or have a space for a tree, or whoever's sponsoring these special events to collaborate with us.
It'd be nice to have a list of places and people that we can call upon to do this honor,
Yeah,
and just be able to pull it, when you need one, you pull it off the list.
I'm making a note of that.
and I guess somewhat related, I've been looking across my travels in Tumwater stormwater retention ponds. Alyssa knows that's kind of a special project of mine. I was wondering how we could get a list of stormwater retention ponds in Tumwater that would be eligible to have trees planted in them. They don't have liners, or we're not going to mess up that system, that civil engineered system. Because Brad said that there are probably many that we could plant trees in. I think, when we work on these ordinances, we would want to make it so that the developer has to plant these trees in appropriate stormwater facilities. But in the meantime, I see all kinds of places we could plant trees in Tumwater to help with our canopy goal related to stormwater ponds, or whatever they're officially called.
I will ask our stormwater staff.
Or even a
Tomorrow, if I
pilot,
can.
if there's one they would just like, maybe we could get started with as a pilot. We don't have to start huge, but just a small step forward in that regard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in relation to that, it's sort of like at the post office, you know, which is actually federal related or federal regulated. You know, they just sliced all theirs down. You know, they did have a bunch of Scotch broom in one of them, but the first pond, was really a pretty good bird habitat.
Hmm.
But not anymore.
So who
Yeah, I don't
owns
know
that
what their
land? Is that
plan-
owned by the federal government or do they lease it from Tumwater or do we know?
Well, whatever they do, I understand it's sort of federal regulated. Tumwater can't do much with it, but it's just the idea that as you bring it up, there are areas that it'd be really good to put some trees along the edges.
I don't
We
know what
did
the
that
reg,
for the L&I property, you know, has that big stormwater pond off of Israel. We added a lot of native trees around the edge of that one and everything seems, the pond's still working well and the trees are happy and it added to the tree canopy. But Dennis, you had a comment?
I was not, I'm not aware of the, how those are constructed and what the restrictions are. If we can plant trees in or around them, I think we should take that on. And
Yeah,
do
Brett
it
said there was a
happen.
lot of possibility the stormwater people would have to guide us because it
Yeah.
depends on whether there's a liner or not is just one variable. Obviously, if
Uh-huh.
there's a liner, we can't plant a tree in it, but.
Yeah.
But Alyssa, you think the stormwater experts could, you know, maybe provide a list of potential storm ponds that we could add trees to?
Yes, and they're in my department, so they'll have to answer me.
Oh, excellent.
I'll ask them tomorrow. The stormwater inspector is on vacation, visiting family, so it might not be an immediate, ground truth list, but I'll work to get a list of some good
Right.
candidates.
And then when we work on the ordinance, I think if it's amenable to everybody and the city that should be part of the tree ordinance, that those stormwater ponds that are eligible are more heavily planted.
That's a great idea. There was a lot of red-winged blackbirds at the Tumwater Post Office a while ago before they cut everything down.
Did they cut down trees too, or was it just Scotch broom?
No, that was willow and, there was hardwood species in there,
Yeah,
up to probably 4 or 5 inches in diameter.
Wow. And I understand there's security issues. I understand that some of the trees might have to be limbed up for security lines of sight, but that's a pretty easy solution as opposed to just cutting it down so you can see through.
Yeah, I mean, we could beef up the landscape code with that because most places don't require planting. They, you know, will allow grass or planting, and the developers always go with the cheaper option of grass.
My feel for the landscape code, the way that it's going, is that we're going to, hopefully end up with less grass. But you all will hear more about that tomorrow night.
That's right.
Did we talk about, or maybe it's coming up, I don't have the agenda in front of me, how we're gonna market Arbor Day? Are we doing anything different this year or any ideas to do anything differently?
If you want to do things differently, please let me know. Otherwise, I was going to follow the same recipe from last year with our communications department.
Did you have a
Anyone want-
particular idea in mind, Brent?
I think I bring this up every year and I find out it's not possible. I just so jealous or envious. City of Lacey puts a big banner up on College Avenue every year advertising their Arbor Day. And I know we have posts on Tumwater Boulevard for hanging banners. But Brad seemed to, I can't remember the reason, but it seemed like there was some reason we couldn't do it, but I'm persistent. It just seems like that's a great place to hang an Arbor Day banner. Tree giveaway on Tumwater Boulevard. That's a poster already there for banners.
I'll ask our communications team.
And of course, we'd have to spend some money on a banner, but that's up to this group if they want to spend money on that or not.
Yeah, I don't, we never had a banner. Do we have a banner? We've got that
So
like,
we-
I don't think so.
We could stitch
I-
those
I-
20 Tree City banners together to make one giant one.
Good. What I've seen in the boxes that I inherited from Brad, we have one very small banner that just has our logo, the old logo, and it says tree board. That was the only banner that I found, and it wouldn't be large enough to see from a street. It was like 4 pavilion size.
Is it something you could hang up in front of City Hall? I don't know how many people come to City Hall these days to pay bills or complain or whatever reason people come to City Hall, but is there any opportunity for banners there or no? That
I'll ask
small one might be legible for people coming up the front walkway.
That small one has the problematic logo that we're trying to not show anymore, that states Washington's First Community.
Oh.
We try not to put that up anymore, but I can ask communications about a new banner, one that perhaps we can use for multiple years and just have new stick-on dates to change it so that it can be used for years to come.
Yeah.
I like
is,
that.
is the Arbor Day giveaway always like the third Saturday of?
I think it's the Saturday closest to Earth Day is how the Parks Department does it.
So it's not necessarily something you can just say the third Saturday in April or,
Just say April and then have vinyl lettering that we have with a white background and change the,
just like
the
Velcro
numbers.
maybe. Yeah. I mean, that would be cool if we could have a big banner. I mean, you could even hang it up. Is there a place to hang it near the top of Historical Park? Put it on the fence along,
Oh, the Henderson House, they have a nice
Yeah.
little split rail fence. All kinds of
Right.
people drive by there to go to the Shoots Parkway.
right? That might be a good, or even the corner there.
What, the Crosby House?
Well, I would know, I was thinking back by closer to Falls Terrace.
Oh, oh
I
yeah.
think there's a fence there.
I don't know if that's our property or not.
No, it's probably not, but we could probably get, that's the Olympia Tumwater Foundation, right? We could probably get permission to hang a sign up there for. But yeah, it'd be nice to have a banner.
I'll ask communications and if we can, I'll be in touch.
Okay.
I do have a very short report, even though kind of just wrapped up the Arbor Day discussion.
Okay.
The carbon sequestration paper that I mentioned a number of months ago, that the
Mhm.
Thurston Regional Planning Council was working on for us, they just, they're finalizing it and it should be published on the 27th. I'm happy to share that with tree board members if you want to read it for your own interest. Work continues on the code updates. Brad and I received the draft tree and vegetation preservation ordinance amendment, so he and I are giving comments. It'll come to you all, I believe, in April. March, we're having a meeting all to ourselves. I'll work on having a memo on incentives for planting on public and private property for you all in reference to 2 different urban forestry management plan actions, maybe in the March meeting, for information.
Are we, so, I know you have on our agenda, the next meeting would be 2/14, which is our joint meeting, but we'll have one in March as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
I apologize for the dual meetings this month. I just, the joint planning commission meetings don't leave a lot of room for us to figure out Arbor Day, and I wanted to get collective decisions so I could move forward.
No, I think that's great. I think tomorrow's meeting is going to be long anyway, and
Yeah,
um,
that was a good idea.
yeah.
I don't know if I can bring this up, Trent, it's not on the agenda, but I was wondering if we need to recruit a new tree board member. I know we lost one recently. The people have been really faithful in attending, but so we've never had a problem with quorum for several years, but do we need to recruit another member, Alyssa, or are we good?
So both Jim and I have been working on recruiting. I think I actually have one of your employees applying, Brent.
Oh,
Anna is her name. She's a new employee at the Capitol.
yeah, I haven't even met her yet.
One of
I'm
my-
actually not supervising employees anymore, but yeah, I've seen the name.
She's a neighbor of mine. She has a degree in ecological forestry from Warren Wilson College. She's a Tumwater resident, so I've recruited her. She sent in her application. And then I know Jim has been courting a number of folks as well
Nice.
to apply. So the mayor, I think, is going to wait until she gets a few applications and then interview and figure out who she thinks is best.
And we just have the one slot, or is there more?
There is one slot open, yep. We did have one applicant that was not from Tumwater. They were a professional, but both of the professional slots were filled, so we can include them from their own interest, but they don't meet the requirements to join the board.
I know I just signed up for another term, but you're tempting me. If we get some really qualified, interested people, I might be willing to swap.
Please don't. Of course, your own free will, but
Yeah. I don't want to deter new interested people.
When are the next who are the next board members that are up for renewal? Do you know that?
not offhand. Trent, I'm realizing that we kind of jumped around in the agenda a bit and we never got to public comment, but we do have a member of the public who has their virtual hands up.
Oh, okay. Well, let's do that now then.
Walt, you can unmute yourself and give your public comment.
Well, okay. I was just content to sit here and watch and listen. And then I heard something about the recruitment for the board. So maybe this isn't the right place, but I can find out. Maybe I can find out here what's the procedure for applying for the tree board.
Would you all like me to answer?
I'm sorry, what?
Sure. There is an application on the city's webpage.
Oh, okay.
So you would fill out the application, print it or email it, and send it along with a letter of interest and your resume to the email that's listed on the website. Or you could mail it or bring it in person, whichever means you want to bring those 3 documents in.
Well, I don't want to see, is it Mr. Chapman? Or you suggested you were going to make way for somebody? I wouldn't want to see you do that, but what's the maximum size of the tree board authorized for?
7 members.
7,
We currently
okay.
have 1 vacancy.
And you're one short?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, good. Well, that was, that's what I had. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And Walter, too, just FYI, even if the tree board doesn't have an opening, you can sign up for, I think you can rate the boards, the other boards. There's like the Parks and Rec board and the planning board, there's a bunch of other boards that you could also apply to as well. Okay, was there any other public comment, I guess? Is Walter the only one?
Or was the only one?
Okay. So our next meeting is tomorrow, and then again, we're gonna have one in March. Does anybody have anything else? Should we go ahead and adjourn this meeting? Make a motion to adjourn the meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Okay. Meeting adjourned. Great. We'll see
Everyone,
everybody tomorrow.
Yes, see most of you tomorrow.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Alyssa.
tomorrow.
Great
Good
night.
night.